Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Batwoman Season 3, the rundown review. So tonight was the Season 3 finale. I've decided not to review that individually, but I will add it to like this review. Mainly because I didn't like the finale. It felt predictable. Like you knew what was gonna happen, especially if you saw like the pictures pictures on Instagram from like the stars of the show. You kind of could put like two to two together, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, that whole bat blimp thing was just the most dumbest thing I've ever seen. This is not the Adam West show. It's like what was that supposed to be, a big ooh wow type thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, like when Superman and Lois had Superman in his iconic first costume, that was cool. Nobody expected that, but don't nobody want to see a bat blimp. Like, you mean to tell me in the like this version of Batman has a bat blimp and not a bat wing or nothing like that? Like, come on, man. If you get canceled, it's gonna be because of dumb stuff like that. And the writers only have themselves to blame. So anyways, the rundown review. I gotta say, season 3 is my all-time favorite Batwoman like season. Season 1 I didn't particularly like that well. I watched it until I got bored halfway and then I stopped. And mainly because of the way they wrote the show, and also because of Ruby Rose's acting. Like, I'm just not a fan of her acting. But also, it's like, the acting, not acting, but the writing just wasn't great in like season 1. And it's just like they kept trying to make like Kate like more superior than that of Batman, and I did not appreciate that. Then season 2 came around and we got our brand new Batwoman. And like, I was feeling her and then like, oh, you know what I mean. So that sounded kind of perverted. But I was getting like a feel for her and everything, and like, okay, she's pretty cool and stuff. And but season 2 is a little bit of a mixed bag. It's like part of it's good, part of it's not. Some of it seemed rushed, and like they kept focusing on Kate Kane in season 2 to the point where you didn't know that much about Ryan. Then comes season 3, and ironically, we still don't know much about her. We now know her biological mother gave her up, how she got like her name and like stuff like that. And she has a brother and stuff. But other than that, they kept. See, it's like, it's weird. They don't make her Ryan. In my opinion, there is no Ryan Wilder in Batwoman. It's just Batwoman in the shadow of Kate Kane and Bruce Wayne. Because like in season 2, they gave Ryan Kate's like gay club. And it's kind of like, oh, I didn't know she knows how to run a club. And then it was so ironic, you barely see the club featured on the show. And not only that, but after rewatching the first episode of season 2, her mom, or adoptive mom, said, why don't you teach like martial arts since you know karate and stuff? And it's kind of like, yeah, why not give her that profession? But no, they gave her Kate's job and everything. I also think, I'm not 100% sure, I also think she lives in Kate's old apartment and stuff. If not, then it's probably Sophie, but somebody lives in that apartment, I'm pretty sure. And then, of course, now in season 3, because Kate was like, in charge of Wayne Enterprises, now for some bizarre reason, Ryan's in charge of Wayne Enterprises, and she is not skilled enough to like own that company. And then it's just kind of like, why are you giving her like all of like the other people's stuff and not giving her her own stuff? I mean, heck, you might as well let her just live in Wayne Manor. Nobody else is doing it. But season 3 started off pretty cool and everything. I liked how they started bringing in older Batman villains, but making them 2.0. That was really cool from the cliffhanger of last season, when the Rose Gallery archive stuff swept away, and random people was getting their hands on it. It was upbeat, it was different, it was fresh. And and I like the interaction with the people in the streets, and how people like getting their hands on stuff and stuff like that. Like that all was pretty cool, because most of the time when you watch these shows, they're pretty isolated with just the main cast and whoever guest starring. And of course, with the what going around, people have to really be isolated now. But it was kind of cool seeing like crowds of people and stuff like that. The guy who they had playing Mad Hatter 2.0 was amazing. He was a really good actor. He looked like Jarvis Trench. Well, a younger version. And the cool thing about him is that like he was just like a typical Batman villain. He was obsessed with somebody similar to that of the original Mad Hatter, who was obsessed with a woman. And so it's like he was obsessed with Alice. Go figure. And so he wanted to like impress her and woo her by killing folks and harming folks. And this Mad Hatter in this Batman universe is very powerful. Like the dude can literally mind control an entire room just by like looking at people, because his hat has that ability. So it makes you wonder, how did Batman have to go up against him like back in the day? And so he had to create like these devices to block out the mind control stuff. But then what did they do? Instead of having him be a recurring villain, they killed him off. Why? Because he was not the main villain of the season story arc. And that's something that's really bugging me about these shows. They always just want one villain for the entire season, or two. And it's just like, man, this is Batman with a rogues gallery. You gotta have multiple people. You gotta have episodic episodes. But we have moved past episodic stuff, which really sucks. And so they killed him off in the first episode. Then there was the second episode, the Killer Croc one. I can't say much about that, only because I still haven't seen the middle to the ending part of that yet. But the dude looked amazing in his costume. And was he a recurring character? No, they cured his behind. Either they cured him, or maybe he died. Like I said, I don't know. But it's kind of like, why couldn't they have more of him? However, maybe he would have been too much for her, because he is a metahuman with an extreme amount of strength, and she still hasn't learned like the full ropes of being like part of the Bat family. Like she's still learning, which brings me to the finale of season 3. What in the world were they thinking? And so with this trend going on of bringing back older villains but 2.0, I'm like, man, who else are they gonna bring back and everything? So then they brought out the whole they really didn't bring out Freeze 2.0, but they had elements of them. Like they had his wife and she aged, and it was a beautiful story. And it was one of my favorite episodes. The reason why it was one of my favorite episodes is because it did stuff that I love when it comes to comic book TV shows or action shows, especially that of the 90s. It had plenty of action, good action, hand-to-hand combat action, because the woman that she fought against started off as like a stunt double and stuff, and so then she later on started acting. The thing I remember her the most in is Van Helsing, the sci-fi show that recently just got canceled this last year. And so that was really good. Like we got to see her fight against Luke. We got to see her fight against Batwoman. We got to see them use weapons and stuff. And we got some. Oh my God, dude, that Batmobile chase, that was awesome. The chase was awesome. How he froze like part of like the bridge or whatever it was. That was amazing. And it's like stuff like that I live for. It reminds me of like the Batman movies and stuff. And so then at the end of that episode, of course, here comes Poison Ivy Vine, which was the beginning of the end for its awesomeness, but it's bittersweet. I like it, but I have problems with it. The whole Mary turn it into Poison Ivy 2.0, or Mary Ivy, or Mary Poison, I should say. That was really cool. That was really good. I love Poison Ivy in general. Also, the CGI on the vines was amazing. They really put in the budget for this season. And so, like, the great thing about Mary being possessed by like the poison ivy vines was like, or chemicals. Like, what was that exactly? She was possessed by the. I don't know, the stuff that's inside like the vines that like made her that way. Anyway, the essence of poison ivy, let's just call it like that. What was so great about that is that it finally gave Mary something to do. And Mary was starting to get kind of boring after a while. And so like it finally gave her something to do. It brought out this wild side in her, and she got to do something really cool with powers. And also, no disrespect, because I do like the actress, it improved her acting by leaps and bounds. It finally gave her something to sink her teeth in. Because like when a lot of people complain about this show, they always say like the acting isn't that great. They always say the best actress is like, you know, Rachel, who plays Alice. And nobody never really talks about the Mary actress. And they normally say she's like one of the weaker points. And it's because, you know, she's very new to like acting. Her resume hasn't been built up yet. So she hasn't had that much practice. And this gave her a lot of practice. And thank God for that. Because I needed another good reason to like her other than the fact that she's hot. And stuff. I know it's a little shallow and stuff, but hey, like, you know, people like what they like. And so it was just kind of like I was just like waiting for them to do something with her because it was like it was getting kind of like boring. But the best part she ever had in the show was when she interacted with her stepfather and stuff. And so it was also cool to see her go through like that personality shift, like little Mary, because you know, because Mary is very like naive, cutesy, adorable, kind of, I always said naive, a little dopey at times, and it made her grow into a woman. And so with that, she finally has some weight, some guilt and everything. Like, cause you know, once the little essence like wears off, she's gonna be feeling it. She's gonna be feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders and all the grief and everything like that. And that's exactly what happened. But the things that like was confusing and was like, was she possessed or was it just bringing out her inhibitions like alcohol? Because at first it seemed like she was fully possessed and a completely different person. Then halfway into it, she seemed like she was just herself, but under like the influence of kind of like alcohol, kind of, you know? So it brought out her inhibition. So that part's fuzzy. And the writers really need to explain that more, but that didn't. And so then when she started meeting Poison Ivy, then it was kind of like, well, who is she? Is she Mary? Is she Poison Ivy? That part was never truly really explained because when Poison Ivy wanted her to kill somebody, she didn't want to do it. But then when she woke up by being startled and by mistake, she killed somebody. And then it was kind of like, well, did she do it? Did Poison Ivy like essence inside her do it? But she still felt guilty doing that. Now letting Alice take the blame, that was jacked up. That was low down. That was jacked up. I can't believe she did it. It's kind of like she reverted back to her like season one kid state, and that grown woman just like disappeared, you know. And so like I really love the stuff with her doing the whole poison ivy thing, and also she looked great in the costume. The costume was a bit cheap, and it kept changing over time. They kept like changing and hope people wouldn't notice, but I noticed. I still think her costume should have been a bit better. It should have had more of a plant motif. Um, it looked like cheap, like leather that just been like spray painted, and it was kind of cheap, but it was kind of cool at the same time. Like it kind of reminds you of something which you would see a poison ivy wear. However, like I said before, the whole poison ivy thing was bittersweet because then it started this whole season-long story arc, and then all of Batman's older road galleries got pushed to the side and disappeared, and it's just now focused on Poison Ivy. and Joker 2.0. And then, so with the actual real Poison Ivy, I love this actress to death. I love Bridget Regan. I've loved her for over a decade and a half. Back when I saw her in Legend of the Seeker. If you can find Legend of the Seeker somewhere online, watch it. It's not on Hulu no more. And so I know a lot of people didn't like her take on Poison Ivy. I've said this before. When they created the Poison Ivies on in this show, they split the personalities in half. They gave Mary the sexy fun part, and then they gave Bridget the more serious and evil parts and stuff. And so like we saw that. Like she will kill. You know what I'm saying? Like she will not hold back. She will kill and stuff. And so like, but they also made her into like a whiny lover and everything. Like the whole thing between her and Renee Montoya was a bit sappy at times. It's all like, oh, I really love you and I want you to come with me and kill people. No, I can't come with you and kill people. I'm a cop. I want you to stay here and love me and be a nice person. No, I don't want to be a nice person. I want to go and kill people, but come and love me. Like, I got so sick and tired of hearing that. They made both of those two into like a whiny lover and stuff. And then, like, when she was incapacitated and then woke up on the plane, she was all like, see, I knew it. I should never trusted you. I'm just like, why did the writers write her like that? Like, did they watch, like, the Harley Quinn HBO Max show and be like, oh, okay, well, that's how Poison Ivy acts, so that's how we're going to write her? Like, no, Poison Ivy is so much more different than that. So that part kind of took me out like a little bit because it's kind of like, man, make her do something cool. Like make her create plant people and have them killing people or something like that. That's what she does in the comics and in the cartoons. If they could do it in a cartoon, they could do it here. And so I was very disappointed in that. Now it's getting to Joker 2.0. Joker 2.0. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It just didn't click with me. Like, it's nothing against the actor. Well, a little bit of it is. Now when the actor did like the whole Marcus stuff in the beginning, when he was like the nice guy, he was a great actor when it came to that. But once they explained that, oh, the Joker tormented him and turned him into like this messed up psychotic person, it's like, interesting. But then he became Joker 2.0, and I just didn't feel it. Like, I know every actor who plays the Joker does their own take. Look, it's like I said before, when he was doing the Marcus stuff, when he was also doing like the Joker gangster stuff, that was fine. But he was not ready to play the Joker. He was not ready at all. He should have practiced a whole lot harder being the Joker. Like, yeah, this was bad casting on that part. If he wasn't ready, they should never cast him for that part and should have done it to somebody else. If he wasn't like, if he just wasn't suited for the role, he should have just kept him as Marcus and had somebody else be Joker 2.0. Like, wouldn't it have been crazy if, say, like, I don't know, Luke was secretly like tortured by the Joker back in the day when he was trying to get to his father, Batman, and then he turned out to be like Joker 2.0 or something? That would have been interesting, or somebody else. But no. So it's kind of like, so the thing with the whole Joker 2.0 is like, okay, we assumed he was tortured by the Joker for like a long time. He wasn't. We actually saw what actually got to happen. Now, I will say, it was awesome getting that glimpse of like the Joker. The dude looked great and everything. And so like, even though you really get to see much of him, but there's like a picture online and stuff. But yeah, he didn't even really torture him. He just like, killed the bus driver and everybody else got scared and then he whispered something in his ear and then he zapped him. Now, the whole joy buzzer, being able to turn people psychotic and into a version of the Joker was stupid. And the thing is, it didn't even turn people into a version of Joker. It just made them psychotic. So why did he try to emulate the Joker? That didn't make no sense. And so apparently he's not really even Joker 2.0 because he just emulated like a psychotic person and stuff. So when they had him dressing similar to like the Joker, that would threw people off. But so like it's so dumb. Like a joy buzzer will buzz you in the head and it zaps your empathy. So it makes you like nutty and stuff and wants to kill people. That don't make no sense. That makes sense in a comic book, but this is live action. I can believe a plant lady can put her essence into a plant and jizz it into your blood. I can believe that. I cannot believe that a joy buzzer zaps you in the head and then all of a sudden you're like woo hoo 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 and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't believe that stuff. And so that I can't. Now the whole Kiki thing, I like that actress, but I don't like how they wrote her to piss all over the Joker. Basically, she is the brains behind everything that makes the Joker, all his weapons and gadgets. And she even helped him beat the crap out of Jason Todd and killed him. No, that is the Joker's screwed up, glorious moment in comic book history. And they had somebody help him do that? No, this show has been pissing on the legacy of Batman since season 1, and now they're pissing on the legacy of his arch nemesis. This is messed up. This is one of the reasons why so many people hate this show, because they've been trying their extreme best to make Batman look weak or pitiful or something. And don't do that. He's too big. Just like in the Dark Knight, the comic and the anime movie, Batman is just too big. You know what I'm saying? Well, of course, in that he was really big, but you know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't crap on his legacy. That's like crapping on Superman's legacy, you know? And it's just like, why do that? Why anger people on purpose? Like with the whole, oh, this suit isn't perfect, but it will be when it fits a woman. Like, why do something like that? Why? You're purposely trying to anger people and it worked to the point where they raged against the machine trying to get this show like hated on and stuff, and it succeeded. But then again, the writing wasn't that great in the beginning, so that kind of helped too. And so like then what didn't make no sense is, why did he want to carry out the Joker's plan after all those years? It made sense for the original Poison Ivy to carry out her plan from a long time ago. But why in the world did he want to carry out the Joker's for? And so it's like, I've said it before. They should have just kept the storyline with the whole Poison Ivy stuff. They have 4 episodes left. They should have finished that. Cramming 4 episodes of Joker 2.0 was not good. And a lot of that didn't make sense. It didn't make sense as to why the people believed the guy they did not know. And then when they saw the way he dressed, similar to that of the Joker, they trusted him over Batwoman. Then when he started releasing folks out of Arkham, only one person raised an eyebrow. And it's just kind of like, what kind of writing was that? Like I said before, if this show gets canceled, the writers only have themselves to blame. Just like with Nancy Drew season 3, if Nancy Drew gets canceled, they only have themselves to blame. Because season 3 was not good at all. How are you going to turn Nancy Drew into Supernatural meets Charmed? Like, how you going to do that? And so, like, that part didn't make sense in his storyline. What also did not make no sense is that when they zapped him of all his fluids, like, how in the world did he stay alive? Because he was on an IV machine. Therefore, like, we saw that if you kiss Poison Ivy, that spit is enough to rejuvenate her and stuff. So that IV drop should have rejuvenated him. Plus, there was nobody in the hospital. So that didn't make no sense. And then it's just like that one drop of water revived him, but then shouldn't the IV revive him? And how was he eating? Like, they rushed that whole Joker 2.0 storyline so much that it is embarrassing to the point I'm probably not going to buy this on no DVD. I was thinking about it, but I can't see that because the whole Joker point 2.0 crap just like really did it in for me and stuff. And when he fought against Ryan in the finale on the blimp, on that bat blimp, and so like um part of that was cool when they was fighting hand to hand, but then he just kept rushing her and knocking her through like windows or off the blimp thing. He did that like a total of 3 times. So like that's his fighting style, to ram people. It made no sense and stuff. And then of course we all knew he was gonna get re-zapped and everything. So now he's back to normal and he knows who Batwoman is. And it's just kind of like, okay, all of that was for nothing. And apparently he's gonna him and his mom are gonna stay to season 4. So I bet he's gonna like work on the team now. And I don't want that to happen. And so I just think everything with that whole Joker 2.0 storyline was just crap. Also, why did all the Joker's old hench people take orders from him? He's not even the real Joker. Wouldn't it make more sense to like take orders from Alice, who is a real supervillain and crazy in the head like them? Now let's get into a couple of individual character storylines. I've already did Mary, so there's really no point in doing Mary. So let's do Ryan. There is no Ryan in this show. There's only Batwoman living in the shadow of Kate and Bruce. Still to this day, we don't know much about her old friends, good and bad. We still don't know much about like when she was like in jail. Did she make any enemies? We still don't know like the whole her like 'cause she used to hate cops, but now all of a sudden she's cool with them, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that her whole thing of hating cops in season 2 was really interesting, and they should have kept that, but no, they couldn't do that because of the whole Sophie thing. And then what else that we don't know about her? It's really hard because even the writers don't know. It's quite a shame because they keep trying to make her into Kate 2.0. They gave her Kate's girlfriend, Kate's villains. They gave her her old job. I think even like I said before, the apartment and stuff. And it's just like then they gave her Bruce's like job at Wayne Enterprises. And it's kind of when she had that, she was just kind of like her eyes up in the air, like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? Like you don't know what you're gonna do. Why write that for her? You know? And so it's just kind of like we don't know her views on certain like issues other than the whole cop thing and black people being like unjustified and stuff. We don't know like anything about her that could make her even more interesting. She's no longer homeless. That made her interesting, living in a van. It'd be kind of like that would be like a step in a different direction. Bruce lived in a mansion, she lived in a car, and it's kind of like I remember one time I saw this YouTube trailer, a fan made trailer of Batman who was actually poor and homeless, and he didn't live in Wayne Manor, and he learned how to fight in the streets, and it was like that was kind of interesting take on that. They could have done that with her. And so it's kind of like, she is a better Batwoman now than she was last season. But how in the world did she get so good so fast? You know? And it's just like they gave her the element of or the storyline of having like her real life mother and brother, but it's like that was so predictable and stuff. It's like, they start off as enemies, then friends, and then they bond, and that's it. And it's just kind of like we saw that coming from like a mile away and stuff. And, it's just like, now what? It's like, is her mom gonna be helping out with the Bat family? Probably. And it's just kind of like, her mom made some enemies and stuff. Like, also, I didn't even know her mom knew Luke's dad. Like, what the world, man? Sophie in this show, no matter what season she's in, she's just there to like be a love interest. She was there to be a love interest for Kate in season one. She was there in season two to be like, well, once again, the lover of like Kate when she changed faces and stuff. And now this season, she is the love interest of Renee Montoya and then Ryan. It's like she serves no purpose on this show other than being that. And now we find out that she actually liked Ryan ever since season two when she met her. But wasn't she still in love with Kate and stuff? That was pretty fast of rebounding. I like the Sophie character a lot, and she does add like she is a team player when it comes to the Bat family and stuff. And it's kind of like, well, why not just let her stay in like the Bat cave and do all the computer stuff? She don't know how to. She could like talk to him and be like, oh, this and this is doing that and stuff like that. You need to go here, or better yet, like I said before in one of my older reviews, make her a cop again. She was more interesting when she was a cop. She could have helped out and stuff. And not only that, but make her the new commissioner or something like that, or the new captain of the Crows, right? Bring them back. Now I will say it was really cool seeing her interact with Alice. Her and Alice had so much better chemistry than her and Ryan. Because her and Ryan didn't even know they really wanted to be a thing or not. Because Ryan was kind of like pushing her away. The whole her and Ryan thing is so forced. It's like that should have waited at least two more seasons or something. Because when they first met, Ryan didn't trust her because she was a cop. She kind of didn't trust her either because she was a criminal. But then it's like, oh, now you liked her since the moment you met her. So it's like, what's that about? Then there's the whole Renee Montoya thing. That was just there just so they can like do it and everything. And that really didn't go nowhere. And Renee didn't even help her try to be a cop again. And one thing I'm still wondering, how in the world is she able to pay her bills? She has no job. She has no job. How is she able to afford stuff? That's not explained whatsoever. And then when she kept pursuing Ryan, she became a stereotype of what's known as a phrase I once heard on a show called Scream Queens called the predatory les, which is just like a lesbian woman who constantly pursues another woman, and no matter how many times they reject them, they keep pursuing. Pretty much like a predatory man and everything. And so that's what she became. So it's kind of like, it's sad they did that with her character. But they've been doing it since season one. Like I liked it more when she had all these like conflicts about should she be with like Batwoman or should she be with Kate or should she be with that man? Whatever happened to him? And so like I just think they need to find something to do with her. They need to make her a cop again. Luke. Luke is a weenie. He's been a weenie since like season one, but he was a cool weenie back in season one. He was the smart guy and everything, the techno geek. Like he was like, even though, like I said, he like, because Kate punked him out when they first met, but him and her had a really cool bond. I still say till this day, him and Ruby. When Ruby acted alongside him, she had great chemistry. Their banter was awesome. And so, like, but then in season two, he started to dip down more into Weenieville and everything. He constantly kept getting punked out by every character on the show. And I said, okay, fine, like he's a nerd, but when you get punked out by Mary and she takes the Batmobile, I mean, come on now. And then starting with season two, it's like, okay, if he's so smart, he's unable to figure some of the most basic computer hackery stuff out there, but then all of the women on the show have to figure it out for him. Like when Mary was trying to find like where Kate was when Black Mass had her in season two, Mary figured that out and he wasn't able to figure that out. Then in this season, there's been so many times he had to go search for something, couldn't figure it out, and either Mary, Sophie, or Ryan figured it out. And now in the finale, when Marcus broadcast um his message to like all of Gotham, Luke couldn't even piggyback on like the signal that it came from, and Jada's all like, "Oh well, my company does this, and Wayne Tech this, and then ooh, we're able to find it with these computer people." How come he wasn't able to do that? Then the whole Kiki thing, because she has these huge glasses, and he wears glasses, he couldn't figure out that's an unusual prescription. Ryan had to figure that out for him, and so it's just kind of like, dude, I thought you were smart. And then, so then when he became Batwing in season two, I thought he would be Weenie no more. Boy, was I shocked and surprised. He's not even a hero, he's a sidekick. And I'm tired of him taking up, like pulling up his visor so we can see his face. Dude, we see your face all throughout the episode. Let's see that mask. And they need a better helmet. The costume's fine, but that helmet's terrible. And so what made him an even bigger weenie? No, okay, I'm cool with him having PTSD of him getting shot last season. That's great drama. That's great character development. And so his AI dad, is all like, "Oh, you're not ready, blah, blah, blah. So I'm shut the suit down." But then he ends up taking out the AI and does it in a way and be like, "Okay, I'm not ready." But then after like fighting one more time, "Oh, I am ready." And the dad's like, "You are ready, son." I'm just kind of like, is he ready? Is he not? Like, I didn't make up your mind. So that got kind of like tiresome of them jumping back and forth to it. Then the whole AI, I assume he will be listening to that every episode to hear his dad's voice. Wouldn't that been more great character development and drama if he was obsessed with just talking with his father and constantly hearing his father's voice? Kind of like Beth from Stargirl with the whole Dr. Midnight thing and the whole AI goggles. And then they'd be like, "Luke, man, you kind of got a problem. You're just talking to like a helmet, you know what I'm saying?" And that would have been great. But then now, in order to like pilot the blimp, he had to hook the AI system up to it. So bye bye daddy. And you know why they went bye bye daddy is because the writers couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with that whole scenario and stuff. Ugh, I swear, man. And he has yet driven the Batmobile. Everybody, even Alice now has driven that thing, except for Sophie. But yeah, I mean, at least Marcus got to be in the blimp. And what made no sense is where the world did this blimp come from? He said in season two that he had no idea the Batmobile was in the Batcave. Man, I thought you were smart. What else is it gonna be? Is it gonna be parked at McDonald's or something like that? No, it's gonna be in the Batcave. Oh boy, they make him into a weenie. Not to mention, he couldn't even figure out that like Sophie and Ryan were knocking boots and everything, and Mary was able to figure that out. I'm just like, dude. And whatever happened to Stephanie Brown, all grown up, like that love interest went away. Now, I kind of want to see him and Mary get together, but that'll be so predictable, you know. They kind of just need to be friends, like lovey-dovey friends, but just stay as friends. The will they, won't they be type of thing. Alice. So, Alice, she starts off the season hallucinating, and we don't know why. I don't think it's ever explained why she was hallucinating. And so the whole hallucination thing was on and off throughout the entire season. And it was so off that you kind of forgot about it. And the writers did too. The writers forgot about it so much that the finale has passed and they never cured her of her hallucinations. So what the world was causing it? Was it because she was in conflict with herself? Part of her wants to be evil, the other part wants to be good. Could that have been it? So you're gonna leave us, the viewers, to kind of figure this out for ourselves? Man, what kind of writing is that? And so the longest debatable question is, so should Alice still be on the show? After Ruby left, many people believe she should have left because there was no point for her character to be around. But then they gave her the arc with Ryan, where Ryan wanted to kill her because of the death of her adoptive mother. But then they did the whole ocean thing in season 2. Now, in this season, for some reason, she wants to be good because she's really bonding with Mary, mainly because her sister is, don't nobody know, her dad is locked up, and so she has no more family left. And but what about all the criminals she was friends with? She loves them, so why don't she hang out with them? And whatever happened to them? Whatever happened to her gang? And so these stuff is never like explained. And then so they wanted to redeem her with the whole Mary thing, and it worked. Don't know why it worked, because she didn't even like Mary in the other seasons, and she killed her mom. They just threw that there to give her something to do. Now, the best thing they gave her to do this season is helping figure out the whole like Rose Gallery, Poison Ivy things, and the Joy Bus stuff like that with the whole Renee Montoya stuff. But then, as we know, Renee Montoya was like lying to everybody. Now, I do like how they didn't straight up just redeem her. They kept her evil and stuff. Like, you never know which way she was going to go, but she kept going on the side of good. So that was very confusing. But then she's so kooky in the head. Being kooky is part of the part of being confused in a way. So I'm okay with that, but you know. And then when she found out about the whole Joy Buzzer thing, she's all like, oh, if I zap my head, I can be good. And it's kind of like, you're being good all on your own. You don't need that. So then, for the last 4 episodes, she's obsessed about the Joy Buzzer thing. And that was some good acting. Like, she is still the best actress on this show. When she kept breaking down and crying about the whole Joy Buzzer thing, that was great. And then, so it became a whole debate thing, like, will Ryan let her use it or not? Well, we knew Ryan was never going to let her use it. Now, what don't make no sense is, how in the world did she break out of Arkham in the season finale? Because she was locked up, and Ryan literally told her, you ain't getting the Joy Buzzer. But then she told her what Marcus was going to do and stuff. So I guess they devised like a plan. But why couldn't she devise it with somebody else? Why couldn't she devise it with like Sophie or something? And so it's just kind of like, how in the world did she even know they were going to be on that Pacific rooftop and stuff, you know? And it just kind of happened, this like rush, you know? So it's like, how did she escape? How did she know they were going to be on that rooftop? And how did she been able to pull up 2 grown people with her hands? She's not that strong. And one's wearing a heavy suit. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'll say this again. If they get canceled, it's the writer's fault. And so, like, then, Ryan tells her, you can just be good on your own and blah, blah, blah. She should have figured out. Well, how come she didn't figure it out? Why did she want the Joy Buzzer? Like, she was literally becoming good last season. Nothing was blocking her head. There's no, like, wishy-washy nothing in her head preventing her from being good and stuff. Oh no, wait, or was there? Season 2, didn't they brainwash her to where if she starts to like go good, then I don't know, I forget. I'm not watching season 2 no more. I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, but then they let her just go free. And they wrote her off the show. I'm shocked and surprised. I'm just like, no, like, 'cause technically, yeah, you should be gone. But no, I don't want to see you leave. You're the best actress on this show. And she's a brunette. Like, when did that happen? And so, like, because even the actress is still blonde in real life and stuff. Like, she always wears a wig on the show, but still. And it's just kind of like, so she's a brunette. Even the Alice on the other world was a blonde and stuff. But yeah, man, it's like they wrote her off the show. I could not believe that. Renee Montoya. It was cool to see the actress from Gotham play her character again because she got the short end of the stick, only appearing in season 1 of Gotham, only for a couple of episodes. However, her character was good in the beginning, like, when she was helping the team trying to like solve, like, the cases and stuff like that. But then when the whole poison ivy thing started, we found out her true motive. She just wants to be with Pamela, and that kind of ruined her character. It's like I said before, romance, love, relationships, they ruin these CW shows. And then so after that, she just became this like lovesick like fool who just would do anything and go anywhere with like Pamela, but then still nag. They're like, oh, you can't do this and blah blah blah, which caused a lot of their problems and stuff. And so she's a crooked cop, and they just let her escape with Pamela going to like an island where they won't have to like harm nobody. And it's kind of like, dude, instead of putting them on that island and everything, arrest them. They are criminals. She aided and abetted a criminal. And it's just like she was willing to give up her job that she worked so hard for just to be with the woman she loved. That was just some weak mess right there, man. Like, seriously. Now, one thing that made me furious was when she was the one who came up with this type of like um blocking shield type like chemical that like prevents poison ivy from working her mojo on people. And she'll drink like she'll put like a little bit in her like coffee every day and drink it. She is the one who came up with that, not Batman. And it's just kind of like, you think the world's greatest detective will be able to come up with that and not some cop who don't know anything about chemistry. Not only that, but she had to be the one to defeat poison ivy. It's just like, I don't know, man. Just stop pissing on Batman, you know? The Jada character. Jada was very predictable. We knew when she came in, she was this rude, nasty, mean person. And she played a great, rude, nasty person to the point where she was even going to expose Batwoman's, like, no, she told something like, the reason why all these people the way they are because of Batwoman. And it's kind of like, once again, with the whole Marcus thing. Why should anybody believe her? Nobody knows who she is. But she's involved with a lot of crooked people. She is a criminal, or so we thought she was. But then it turned out, no, she's sympathetic for her son, but she still hangs out with all these bad people and organizations. And so the moment she finds like Ryan, she's all like, don't like her. But then after like a couple of episodes, they bond only because Ryan saved her life and saved Marcus' life. Then when she found out she's Batwoman, she turned a completely different new leaf. And it's just like, now she's all good and everything. And it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I'd rather just see her be a mother to Ryan and have them be conflicted a little bit, be all kind of like, oh, well, you gave me up, or oh, it's too late to give me like a 10-year-old birthday gift now, and like something like that. Like there need to be some type of mother-daughter conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because if they just have her being all, oh, I'm so proud of you because you're a Batwoman, and oh, let me run this business, or oh, I have this type of technology. That's gonna get old fast. So one of the things I want to touch down on the finale was that towards the very, 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 very end, um, when the explosion of the blimp and the chemicals and all this, we see what kind of looks like Solomon Grundy, or at least their version of it. And so we don't get no good glimpse of him, but he looks different than that of Stargirl. Is he the real Solomon Grundy? Is he 2.0? Are they still gonna go back to this whole Rose Gallery 2.0 thing? Because if they do that in season 4, and let that be like all of season 4 again, and that's just gonna be a repeat of season 3. And so I don't want to see that. And if it is Solomon Grundy, Man, how in the world that Luke and Ryan gonna be able to fight a zombie, a super strong zombie? They're not ready for that. They're no Batman, and even Batman sometimes has to have help from like the Justice League at times. But yeah, it's like he's too big and too powerful for them. They should just keep it simple to that of human villains. Bring some more people in the fold. Bring some people we've never seen yet. Bring the Court of Owls. Bring somebody. You know what I'm saying? Um, but don't bring Solomon Grundy because it's gonna be bad CGI, and I don't want to see bad CGI and everything. So yeah, so season three, in my opinion, started off really, really good. It was kind of up in the air towards the middle, but it was still good. But then once it got to the end, it fell 100% flat because it became predictable. We all knew she was gonna save Marcus and stuff. I mean, they wasn't gonna go into season four doing that if they even get a season four. And if they do get a season four, their writers all need to like talk to each other because apparently some stuff is going on to where they write Mary as like, oh, you're possessed. Oh, you're not possessed? Wait, are you possessed? It's like make up your minds, you know what I'm saying? And so I hope season four happens. I hope it's a good season. I hope they come up with something different. Um, I hope they get rid of Ryan's family, or they do have them make them interesting. Because now that Marcus is good, he's just gonna be good, and that's it. Like, what kind of conflict are they gonna have other than, man, you hanging out with my mom too much? Well, she my mama too, and stuff like that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.